listening to the Ice Prep Podcast. Here's your hosts, Bryan and Pat.
This is the best part about being the one who's in control of the camera. For those listening, Pat was, I don't know, doing his best five-head impression or something, just like straight up foreheading his webcam, and I don't think he expected me to cut to his face, and that's how the show started.
Yeah, no, I had dropped something and I was picking it up, so everyone got a lovely look of my forehead. So, anyways, welcome
to the final regular season episode for season 2 here of Ice Prep Podcast, which is crazy.
How did that happen?
Magic. Season 1, of course, culminated with Pat's team winning a Stanley Cup.
Let's go Avs!
My team not making the playoffs. And season 2, going into the playoffs, both of our teams in there. Both of our teams with the chance tonight to take top spot in their divisions, which is ridiculous to think.
And both of the teams relatively decently favored to potentially take it. Like, New Jersey, like, considering where they were last year and considering where they are, that like, to go from not making it to being, like, there is a good chance.
I believe if they get a point tonight, it might be the biggest point swing from one season to the next, like topping the Avs one from a couple years ago. So the Devils needed a goaltender. They finally got a goaltender. And
youngins found their game.
Jack Hughes. Yeah, Jack Hughes now at 98 points. He's got a goal tonight. His little brother got his first point, so he's officially got one in the NHL. I guess we can jump to this right away, because talking Devils, you said Avs. Let me pull this up before I swap over, because you sent me this one. So bad news for Avs fans if you missed this one. Sorry, Pat. Start things on a downer. This came out about 4 or so hours ago. Colorado Avalanche captain Gabe Landeskog will not play in the playoffs due to a knee injury. He missed the entire season. We watched this before. I'm not going to put it on. A, because we can't, and B, because I don't need to see it for the second time or you the fourth.
Yeah.
It was in the playoffs in 2020 against Dallas, and it was Cale Makar's skate on accident that caused this.
Yeah.
And
he was stumbling, and his skate caught his knee. And if you do watch the video, if you seek it out, like, you're warned. It's not grotesque, but at the same time, like, at first I wasn't sure if it had cut him, because
then you see the second angle and you're like, oh.
Well, it's not even that. It's the fact that he's had to sit this entire year because of reconstructive surgery on his knee from that injury.
And then you have, I can't remember the reporter's name, but a little bit more on that there.
Yeah, so Megan, and I'm going to ruin this last name, and I sincerely apologize. I believe it's Angley, Angley. She's actually one of the better reporters on Twitter for Colorado, so give her a follow. But she spoke with Gabe, and this is what she got. Gabriel Landeskog said the injury could very well linger into next year. He says, we're trying to explore options right now and trying to seek the best possible expertise out there. For me, it's been a long road up to this point, but I'm hopeful. When asked if he was confident he would be able to play again, yeah, I'm confident, he explained. He couldn't answer the question of when. So, for any team,
yeah,
that sucks.
That sucks. Your team is still strong. At least they did put this out instead of the constant, like, it would be the only questions people would ask. Like, Cale Makar and McKinnon and Rantanen could score 7 hat tricks in 4 games, and everybody would be like, what's up with Landy? Yeah, so they had to put this out there. I imagine unless he's, like, literally unable, he'll probably be in the press box or traveling with the guys for most of it. So he'll still be a face around there, but he's
gotta be. Like, he's such an important piece. Just like obviously on the ice, but off the ice too. Like there's a reason that people get the C, and like he's their captain.
Youngest captain in NHL history, right?
I think so.
Yeah, I
don't think
believe when he
McDavid
got
took
it.
Yeah. But yeah, it just I feel for the guy. He just signed the contract. He just won the cup. You know he wants to play.
Yeah.
So,
but hey,
hopefully it's not a Forsberg situation where this is a nagging injury that lasts forever and ends his career early.
On the plus side, at least he did get to do the Stanley Cup run and was going through the injury throughout all this. So it's not like he's sitting out and the Avs go on a deep cup run and he's not there for it, blah, 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 like if it was last year. So there's that. We're going to hammer through a bunch of things quick because we want to take a look at our way too early predictions from the start of the season. So we're going to go through a few things quick. You sent me this one just before we started. I absolutely love it. So
this is great.
It sucks though that Buffalo wasn't able to continue the push. They unfortunately ran into the New Jersey Devils, who decided to end their season. But so Devin Levi backing up, he literally grabbed a Sharpie. So you can kind of see it on this photo a little bit. You can really start to see he drew it on here, made the one saber a lightsaber.
Yep.
You can really see it on this one.
So for those listening, he has drawn 2 red lightsabers by hand on his own goalie helmet in like they're red. You've got sparks flying, all kinds of stuff with it.
It's just a generic black helmet, and he got a black, a black, a red, and a gray Sharpie, and just went to town because he's not expected to go in net. But I love it. It is so like even his number is in Sharpie. That he is going to be, if he's half next year of what he was for them for the few games, Buffalo could rebound like New Jersey, and that is scary for everybody. Stick with them because we know Craig Anderson's final start tonight. Yeah. Here's how old some of the Sabres players that he is playing with were when he was drafted. Owen Power, not born yet. Jack Quinn, not born yet.
Paterka?
Neither do I. I don't know Levi. Dylan Cousins, 4 months. Peyton Krebs, 5 months. Rasmus Dahlin, 1 year. Like, that is ridiculous. And he almost backstopped that team to a playoff spot, which is crazy. I can't remember who is Buffalo playing tonight. It's Ottawa, isn't it?
I don't know.
I think
honestly, I've just been so focused.
It is Ottawa, which is a perfect way for it to end. I do hope he gets the win, because to finish his career against
is it the black
Sens,
jerseys?
They have to be if Devin Levi is coloring his helmet black and red.
That's great.
And then this as well with it. As of next season, if Marc-Andre Fleury is still playing, he will be the only active goaltender with a tie.
Huh.
That I thought was really neat. So
that's a fun little.
That just tells you how long both have been in the league.
I saw this is very unrelated, but there's one part that is. I was bored last night and just scrolling through the Fanatics page just to see what travesties they had on there. And they had a Marc-Andre Fleury Vegas sparkly gold jersey for $34, and I almost bought it.
So like bedazzled one?
Yeah, it's great. I love that jersey.
Okay, so from there, I couldn't find the image, so I'm going off my brain on this one, but I do remember it. First time in 16 seasons, Penguins aren't making it to the Stanley Cup playoffs. First time in 8 seasons that the Washington Capitals. So this is the first time since Crosby and Ovechkin were drafted that neither of them are in the playoffs, which is ridiculous and sucks for Pittsburgh fans. First time Crosby and Malkin play over 80 games in a season, and they don't make it. It's just one of those weird. I figured you'd like that one. So this is where it's fun for me, is Pat can kind of see when I'm setting this up, what I'm putting up, but I try and go really quick through it. So I always try and surprise him with a few things, because now he can see everything, which is fun.
And then there's also the stat of, wasn't it like 86 or 85? That was the last time that
Oh, I sent you that one. Yeah, it was.
it was
It might be.
Philly,
Yeah,
Pittsburgh, and
Washington.
Washington. So since the 80s.
Yeah, it was like
Um,
82, 83 when one of those three teams wasn't in the playoffs, and that streak broke this year, which is just. And luckily, that whole time hasn't been the Metro, but that's crazy. And apparently,
yeah.
things are. It seems like the Fenway Group, which bought the Penguins, which is weird because the Fenway Group, obviously Boston, has said there's going to be a lot of changes.
Good.
This one coming out earlier, it's Nick Kiprios, so take it with a grain of salt. But it seems like if the Leafs don't do well and Dubas is cut, it seems like Pittsburgh, they want to go hard at him. It's obvious
Wow.
that Kyle Dubas, if the Leafs let him go, somebody will grab him instantly. That would be interesting to see, to say the least.
Yeah. That would be very, very interesting. Trying to think of what other team would be in the position of firing their GM.
Calgary.
I don't think they'll fire him. They'll fire Suter before him.
Apparently, the owner is not the biggest fan of Boston Pizza, but really likes the coach. For those that don't know, why can't I remember the GM's name? His dad owns Boston Pizza. Yeah, so the guy from Dragon's Den, he's... Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Do. The Today You Learned sound effect going there.
Well, I didn't learn much because I don't know who it is.
I can't remember off the top of my head. There's too many things up here, and everything gets pushed out anyway. Okay, I've got two more things. Ready?
Okay.
I told you we were going to go through this one fast. We already talked Buffalo. We'll talk a little bit of Ottawa. This one's cool because I think everybody kind of loves Jimmy Stu. Tim Stützle becomes the first Senator to hit 90 points in a season since Jason Spezza in 2007-2008. That's cool. Amazing that Erik Karlsson never did that, considering he broke 100 in San Jose this year.
Hey, think about this. So wasn't he third overall?
Yeah, he's basically the redraft from that year. Everybody has said 100 times out of 100 he should have gone first. But if the Rangers picked him over Lafreniere, they would have been. He wouldn't be the same type of player, right? Like that's the issue Lafreniere has as well. Is there's just too much ahead of him. So
well, I mean, you got to look at Quentin Byfield as well. I don't think that. I don't know. His development's been really slow. But at the same time, didn't I say that I think that was a poor choice? I didn't think. I thought he was very overrated when he was put in high pressure situations in the World Juniors, for example, and in the OHL playoffs. He didn't perform. I noticed he was never there. Like it wasn't that he played bad; he just wasn't there. He just didn't show up.
And yeah, that's not always the best marker because we've seen goalies during those 100%. Tournaments that were like, oh my god, they're the best things ever, and then that they're not. But
Devin Levi, though.
Sometimes, yeah. Well, Devin Levi also got knocked out early, so that's why he was playing in the NHL and backing up Craig Anderson. And finally...
Well, he's been playing the past, 7 games and had only one game under 900, which is pretty damn good for a rookie. And Dustin Wolf. Dustin Wolf got pulled in for Calgary, and he won last night with a 3-1 win over, I can't remember, but...
Could you imagine the Calgary Flames not losing a 1-goal game? Oh my god. I sent you that this morning. I was like, how did Zadorov get a hat trick? Like that, to Calgary Flames fans, that has to be the second biggest salt in the wound, minus if Edmonton goes on a big run. Zadorov gets a hat trick after you're eliminated.
Yeah. And then the goalie that all the fans have been saying, you need to pull this kid up, gets the win 3-1.
It's almost like there's a coaching problem there and a culture problem. Yeah, that's going to be an interesting one in the offseason, especially when we get to our way too early predictions, because we were all in on Calgary.
We sure were.
Okay, finally, this is more for those who are watching. This is one of the best artists out there. ePool 88 every year. They put out these absolutely incredible drawings of like all the teams, their logos as the playoffs get going. They put it out again. I finally get to see the Devils once again, and it just looks awesome. Look at that. Look at the Kraken. First time we get to see the Kraken one.
Hey, they did the Yeti instead of Bernie this year. I like that.
The Yeti makes more sense. Sorry to Bernie. It's like why they gave the Oilers an oil rig worker, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, the Yeti, they had to retire that one after it beat the crap out of a person. So
that would be a good reason why.
That's actually what happened. The old mascot literally assaulted, I think, a fan, and then they just didn't have a mascot for a year, and then suddenly Bernie appeared.
Oh, that would be one reason.
It's a very dark story.
Okay. Today I learned something new as well, apparently. I did not know that.
Oh, it's ridiculous.
Anyway. I'll just pull this up quick. There's literally only one matchup that we know, and it's this one here in the East. Every other one still up in the air. In the West, what I don't think there's any that are already locked in, or is there one? It might just be no. There's none that are locked in, but there's places that are locked in. LA will always finish Pacific third. Yes. Kraken will always finish wildcard 1. Winnipeg will always finish wildcard 2. It's just a matter of, is it going to be Vegas against LA or Edmonton against Winnipeg, blah, blah, blah. So unfortunately, we can't really talk about the matchups. There's only one known matchup. And unless we started recording at like midnight tonight, which we weren't going to do, Well,
and even then, it may not be fully locked in. And
because Colorado, if they... Well, it still could, because if Dallas wins tonight and Colorado doesn't get a point, then that locks that in. So,
yeah, exactly. So it's there's a lot of unknowns at the moment. We were hoping to be able to do like a little bit of a, hey, this is our prediction for this, yada yada yada. But yeah, there's like 42 games tonight. Jesus.
Except for Calgary, because they're already eliminated.
Yeah. And it's 0-0, Stars, Blues, 1-1, Jets, Avalanche. So, no anxiety or anything there.
Well, if we're talking scores, I'm happy to see... Oh, never mind. Now it's 4-2 Hurricanes. Panthers had tied it back up. Devils tied their game at 4-4, so that makes me happy.
That's good.
Pat, don't watch that. We are going to... Let me get this one up. Do you want to go... where we thought teams were going to end up, or do you want to go way too early predictions first? I'll let you decide.
Let's do standings projections, because I think that we can get... I know we just talked about how we don't know where people are, but for the most part... Yeah. So... Oh, no.
Hey, at least you had Boston making the playoffs.
Oh, Bryan. Boston missing, and then literally them setting the record for most wins.
Yeah, that wasn't a good one. Hey, I had Buffalo making it, and that one was close. Yeah, you had Boston making the playoffs. You can see your little asterisks there.
I had Ottawa making it too, so... Oof.
Yeah, so I got, 3 right? You got 4, but at least you had Boston making it. I most certainly did not. So Pat wins...
Tampa right.
Pat wins the Metro. I can't highlight it right now, so you'll have to highlight that one for me.
Yeah.
Metropolitan. So you had Carolina, New York, Pittsburgh. You didn't have Jersey making. You didn't have the Islanders making it. I had Carolina, Pittsburgh, New York, and the Islanders. That defaults to my win, Pat.
Damn it.
But yeah, here's the difference. Look, I had New Jersey in 7th. They're either going to finish 1st or 2nd. Looks like 2nd as of right now.
Yeah.
Because you had 5 people in the Atlantic.
Fine.
All right, let's scroll down here. Central Division. Colorado. Wow. You got 2. I got 2. You had Minnesota 5th. I had Minnesota 7th. That's not good.
Well, I mean, I'd think that most people, including even people like fans of Minnesota, would have put them maybe not at the top, but they probably would have put them
As a
in the
middling team?
fourth or fifth. Like it sounds on paper, that's where they look like they should be. They're playing above their pay grade right now, and good for them. Like they found some gold out of players that not everyone would have guessed. Gustafsson,
and you have to remember they're playing $12 million down because they still have Parise and Suter's cap hit because they bought them out, which is now looking like the smartest thing that they did.
Well, I mean, they had to. Period.
Yep.
In the story. They couldn't have those contracts on the books anymore. They had to get rid of that garbage. So
this one is a tie. So let's find out if who wins the competition, because we know we are both dead wrong here with this one, with Calgary. Bryan and Pat both had Calgary winning the Pacific. And Pat's going to take it because he had Edmonton, Vegas, LA.
Woo!
I had Calgary, Edmonton, Vancouver, LA. So I got 2 of 4. You had Seattle finishing 8th. I had them 7th at least. So
I honestly thought Anaheim was going to have a bounce back year. I don't know. I just thought that they were going to do what New Jersey and Minnesota are doing this year and like greatly improve. Because they were terrible last year. So I thought that they were going to go out from a dumpster fire to a dumpster simmer.
But hey, they have half decent odds at Connor Bedard, so that's the plus side. So that is the standings. So Pat just barely squeaks out the win on standings. We'll have to do that one again next season. Kind of make sure you highlight your name there, Pat, so we know.
Oh, yeah, because Pat's the winner.
So that's the fun thing, too, is that we can actually see Pat highlight this in real time and see his name appear. Wow.
Win.
Okay. From there, head over to winners
my
of
chickens. Yeah, this is my chicken scratch.
Winners
you get to see a little bit of the sausage cooked here.
I think for the future we'll pretty it up a little bit, but I mean this works. Who are the winners of the off season? I had the Flames. They did not win the season. Pat had Ottawa. Is that a loss for both? That's a bigger loss for me, so maybe you default the win.
I was gonna say like mine wasn't as bad as a flub, but it's still a flub.
We'll give you the win because mine was infinitely worse.
Yeah.
So that was who were the winners. Who were the losers of the offseason? This one is so easily mine. Klingberg. His agent cost him millions upon millions of dollars. It's bad. And Vegas, everybody thought maybe there's the demise. Nope, they're right back.
I put a big red mark in that one because I said Vegas, and that was very wrong. That was very, very wrong.
So, hold on. I just need to check this quick. Last year, Anaheim finished in 7th. Last year, Ottawa finished in 7th. Let's pull this up here, Pat. Ottawa. Oh, look at that. They moved up in the world. 1, 2, 3. What are they? 4th, 5th. And let's take a look here at Anaheim. Oh no.
Hey, you know what? They're improved. Not in the standings, but their lottery chances. So
who will see the biggest decline? Rangers or Florida? Pat wins this one by technicality, I'll say, because they were obviously the President's Choice winners last year. A lot less points.
President's Choice winners?
Yes, the President's Choice winners. The
Galen Weston handed him a no-name trophy that just said trophy on it.
That's actually really funny. That would be one of the funniest possible like brands buying a trophy in the NHL.
President's
Here
Choice.
you go. Here's your no-name award.
Good Lord. just award, and it just says congratulations. Oh no.
Who is going to have a breakout year? Tage Thompson had a breakout year. Jack Hughes had a breakout year.
But who had more of a breakout year?
Jack Hughes currently sitting at 98 points. Tage Thompson.
Points doesn't fully dictate it. Let's do some research.
Don't take too long on it.
Look up Tage Thompson.
Tage Thompson, who's got 47 goals. He's scored tonight. And does he have any assists tonight for me to quickly see? No, he does not.
Okay, so we're going to go to his stats and his career. 21-22. His points were 68.
Okay. And what's he at right now?
93.
Okay, so 25-point improvement, right? Yes.
Yeah, that's a pretty big jump. And let's take a look at Monsieur Jacques Hughes and Monsieur Jacques Hughes. It doesn't matter.
That would mean Jack Hughes.
Oh, he had 56 points last season, and he had 97 currently, or according to NHL.com.
98
so that's
as in game. A little bit more.
That's a 41, and the other side of that coin, too, is Tage Thompson played 78 games last year, and Jack Hughes played 49.
Yep.
Well, crap. I thought I had...
I think I get that one.
Well, I'm just going to throw my mouse.
I think we both lose on this next one. What player is going to flop? Kadri played well. He had 58, I believe, was his points for the Avs last year, right?
I think that was my guess.
Oh, was it your guess?
Yeah, I think I said that he was going to have 58 points. Oh, my... No. Are you kidding me right now?
Oh, I was going to pull up my player stats, but I can't.
He's at 56 points, Bryan.
You were close. I will give Pat that. He was 2 points off, so Pat will get that win for sure.
Well, he also had 87 points last year.
Yeah.
87 in 71 games. Calgary, he had 56 in 82, so
that's a decline. Yep.
Yeah, and then yours was Gianni Hockey.
Excuse me. Not necessarily a flop for Kadri, but in comparison to...
Yeah, exactly. And that's kind of what I was saying. I'm not saying he was going to fall off a cliff. It was going to be he's not going to perform the same. And the flop being taking in the factor of his signing. So he signed for such a large amount.
Yep.
Going to Calgary, and the expectation was 80 points. He ended with 58. That is a flop. When it comes to Johnny Gaudreau, you might actually have this. I think we both did pretty well, but so in Calgary, 82 games, 115 points.
Yep.
Which I don't even remember him doing that many.
Oh, yeah.
And Columbus, 78 games, 72 points.
Ooh, that's a fall off, but he is playing with a lot lesser of a team than what Kadri is by stats.
Yeah.
So
I'll give myself a darker green. Yours is still a green.
Worst signing of the offseason. I had Goodbranson, who went from the Flames to Columbus. Minus 24, 13 points on the season, played 70 games. I mean, he's a defenseman, but he is a very overpaid defenseman. Mm-hmm. Whereas at least Gaudreau is not worth the value. I don't know how to call that one, who's right, who's wrong.
I mean, I look at it and they're paying him $9.75 million.
They overpaid for sure. I am so glad that Jersey didn't get him.
Yeah. So $9.75 million, and they paid for a 100 point, probably not 115 or 120, 100 point player, and they got 72 points out of him, and a minus 34 instead of a plus 64.
Now at the other side of the coin, if from this season they bring in Bedard, they get Bedard, you could see Gaudreau within 2 years back to easily being a 100+ point player again. So I
I
don't
mean,
I don't know
the
how to rank this one. Um,
the
I
other
will
way to look at it is he had a 9% shooting percent this season. That's not great. So it's not just that he played on a bad team. He's also not shooting well.
yeah.
And that's what they're paying him for. I'm not like this one is a tough one. I don't know if we have a winner or loser because the true losers are Columbus.
That's true. Cuz
But
Columbus
at the
has
same time,
both of those players.
yeah, but at the same time, they're winners because they have both those players, and now they're going to get Bedard. So maybe they're 4D chess playing.
All right, here we go. More way too earlys. Who will win the President's Trophy? We are both wrong. I had Leafs. You had Avalanche.
Yep.
Who will win the Rocket? We both had Matthews. That's wrong again.
Yep. Big time.
Who will win the Cup? I took Oilers. You took Leafs.
We'll see. Oilers are currently the top projected team to win the Cup. So Bryan currently is in the lead.
Way too early predictions. Will any of this past year's draft class win the Calder? No, and we are 100% right on that because it's either going to be Matty Benier or it's going to be Stuart Skinner, and neither of them are from last year.
It shouldn't be Stuart Skinner. If Stuart Skinner was going to be winning the Calder, then he would also be leading the Vezina. Plain and simple. That's the way I look at it.
Who will win the Bedard lottery? I put the Jets, and hey, they're in the playoffs. It was looking like it for a while there. Because
my skin's still in the game.
When I did this, just remember, I picked the Jets to be in the Bedard lottery and make the playoffs. So I was just trying to not be wrong somewhere. Pat has
the
Philly.
fence that you sit on. Yes, I had Philly. So
yeah, and that's it.
Yeah, that was just all the.
So what do we have here? 1, 2, 3 for Pat. 1, 2, 3.
Bryan crushed it.
3 for Bryan. Or 4 for Bryan. No, 3 for Bryan. We tied 3-3. Well, this was our tiebreaker, and neither of us could get it. Because we tied on our tiebreaker. And then this we don't know yet, because we were both wrong on the Rocket.
I will say, I think that you win this one because my guess on Vegas was so wildly wrong.
Yeah.
That I will admit defeat because big yikes. And obviously the Hughes, I put light green with Tage Thompson. Hughes won that. Hughes won that plain and simple. So I think that was definitely a good call.
I'll take the win with the asterisks. I'll take the win.
No asterisks. That's a win. That's a win. You won with Hughes. Absolutely. Tage Thompson had a great season, and I don't want to diminish that. That's why I put the light green with it. But Jack Hughes is comparatively, he is definitely having the bigger breakout season.
Congrats to the Carolina Hurricanes. 5 seconds left in their game. They're up 6-4. Carolina Hurricanes are going to win the Metro.
There you go.
Devils, they're in overtime. So Panthers, let me do some quick things here. We won't go over the changes because that will get way too clunky way too quickly. That will mean that it is Florida-Boston.
Oh, okay.
That does mean Isles and Hurricanes. So the Atlantic is staying with the Atlantic and the Metro is staying with the Metro, which is kind of neat. And then, so that's the East. That is the matchups.
Well, all it took was like 2 games before the end of the season to find out.
And actually, that makes this technically accurate right now, so that's kind of neat. So there's the matchups. Well, we could go over who we think, but I mean, maybe we can do that 1 or 2 games into the series next week, because obviously we record on Thursdays, the games start on Monday, so.
How about this? Let's commit to this before we dive into, before the playoffs start. I think you've done it every year. I've done it every year. We set our brackets.
Yep.
We will come in here and we will have our brackets. We'll talk through our mentality as to why we chose what we chose. Obviously, I'm not going to choose Colorado to win because that's what I did last year, and then they won. So got to hedge my bets.
Yep.
But I think that that's a way, even a couple games in, we lock them down beforehand so that we don't kind of cheat once we see, SpaghettiOs, this team is dying.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I like that. It's neat to see the East is lined up. It makes me sad that the Devils didn't get the Metro, but it is what it is.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can't be too upset because the Devils have done something this season which is so unfortunate that it is happening in the season with Boston doing what they're doing, because the story 100% would be, holy crap, the Devils were terrible last year.
Out of the East.
And
yeah.
Out of nowhere, they're second place in the division, having one of the best seasons with this goaltender that was really a backup when you think about it. Now being their starter, so many question marks that just evaporated. But then Boston just comes in and goes, watch us break every single record.
Oh, the Leafs must have won, by the way. It's updating as we talk. They did. So they beat the Rangers 3-2.
Well, there you go.
Hey! Congrats to William Nylander. He got 40 goals. So the Leafs with two 40-goal scorers, and if Marner played, he did not get a point. So he's stuck at 99.
A lot of people just made a lot of money with Nylander hitting 40.
Oh, no. I got to show you something here, Pat. Oh, no. Oh, no, Columbus. You're not supposed to win. You're not supposed to win.
Care.
I know. But if you're Columbus, you were not supposed to win this game.
But if you're Pittsburgh, you let them win that game, because then they're like, well, fine, if you're going to lose, if you want to play still, we're going to make it harder for you to win the next coming of Gretzky.
The Bedard, that's not good for Columbus. That
chaos.
There is the chance, if they lost tonight, because Chicago and Anaheim, were they playing each other? Sorry, we're kind of just doing this all as it's happening. So Blackhawks are losing to the Flyers right now. Anaheim plays later. With the 2 points for Columbus here, I'll let you see a little bit of the behind the scenes here. So Columbus is here. This is the third best odds at 9.5. So they're going to be at 61. So they currently jumped up from 11.5 to 9.5. So I think they won like 2 or 3 of their last couple games. They skyrocketed in the wrong direction to get Bedard. Chicago is the front runner. But I think Anaheim, this won't show it, but I believe Anaheim might actually have the tiebreaker for being the worst team, if I remember correctly.
See, this is the President's Choice Cup.
Yeah, no kidding.
This is what you should win, because like everyone loses when it's President's Choice.
Anaheim technically has the tiebreaker, and a big part of that is this. No, that shouldn't say 8-2-0. By the way, that should be 0-8-2.
Oh,
I don't know why it's pulling that data, but that's wrong.
Look at Anaheim go. Oh man, what a season.
Oh, there's some sausage back there.
Yeah,
crazy.
What a wild season it's been, and I mean we haven't even started the playoffs, and just there's been just.
The amount of stuff happening out there, like Montreal beating Boston in the final game of the season, to me is hilarious. By the way,
of course,
that didn't matter. It doesn't affect their.
Who's gonna touch? They have literally the record for most wins.
Actually, that could have actually hurt them. They were 1 point behind Arizona. They have now leapfrogged Arizona by 1 point. And see, this is the thing. Like, how, if you're going for Bedard, I get you want to win the last game of the year. Like, you want to go out for the fans. But for some of these teams, like, this could be the difference of 15-20%. Coyotes playing the Canucks. Like,
Well, and it's not even like at this point too. The percentages are a bit of a gamble as it is anyway. But like, imagine that win, that 1 point swap. Arizona now gets Bedard because of where they're placed.
Yeah,
they get bumped to first, whereas that could have been Montreal.
Yeah, that's
because
there's going to be.
Which would fans hate more, losing in the last game of the season, or losing Bedard because of winning in the last game of the season?
Bedard, hands down. So that's going to be interesting to see some of the media reports coming out, especially when the draft lottery happens. And since we're doing this live as we're recording it, Craig Anderson gets the win in his final NHL game, a 4-3 overtime victory over the Ottawa Senators. So that's all kinds of fun. Pat, do you have your phone ready?
No. And for those, we've been talking about it a decent amount. The draft lottery, because I didn't know the day, is Monday, May 8th. So we are less than a month away from finding out who is going to win the Bedard lottery.
Please not Chicago. Please not Chicago. Please not Chicago. I don't care who else.
Or Columbus. I don't want him to be in Columbus. I'm sorry. Nothing against Columbus, but I mean, probably plenty against Columbus, but still.
Columbus, it takes 6-7 hours to drive there from here.
I don't want to hear the cannon.
But
it's going to be going off so much. I don't want to hear it. But yes, I think I'm more excited about the draft lottery than I am about just the playoffs. I just want to know who is getting first and second. Oh, Brian's excited about something.
Devils just won it in overtime. I know we said we weren't going to do a lot of talking about blah, blah, blah. It happened. Devils win in overtime. Luke Hughes, wraparound goal with the assist from Jack Hughes and Nico Hischier.
Oh, that's really cool.
That's cool. And that means that
his first goal was assisted by his brother. That's a cool moment.
And that means that Jack Hughes finishes the season with 99 points.
Oh, so he tied Marner. That's cool.
Yeah, Devils almost had their first 100-point player.
Also, I want to point out something too. I can't fully remember the stat, but everyone is so over the top with Austin Matthews. Everyone is saying he is incredible, the best player of a generation, putting him sometimes rivaling McDavid, which I think that argument can now be laid to rest. Personally,
Matthews is lucky to be in the Draisaitl level.
Yes, this season, maybe it's an injury. Fine, I get that. I know that injuries are happening, and again, I'm not saying he's a bad player. We both said we chose him for the Rocket.
Now he has to show it in the playoffs.
No one is even talking about the fact that Jason Robertson has the most points for a U.S. player ever under the age of 23.
I saw that. That's crazy.
So where's Matthews? What?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're talking this much about Matthews and being like, oh, he's a superstar. When I bring up the fact that I don't think that he's at superstar level, I think he's at all-star level, but not superstar level. Jason Robertson, in my opinion, is a superstar that's getting paid the same amount as William friggin' Nylander.
I can't believe that contract. I love the Jack Hughes contract. It is all the second that it was signed, it was an underpayment. The second that one came out for Robertson, everybody was like, how? But the kid was like, I just want to play. He left tens of millions on the table, but I don't think at that point, for a lot of them, he probably doesn't care.
It's not even how many years is it? Jason, oh no, what am I doing? I'm typing things into the wrong place. Jason Robertson.
Pat's going into the Matrix.
Oh God, not again. Cat friendly. Oh, I almost said something terrible. I'm not allowed to. Robertson. He is getting. Oh my God. 7.75. He's not even at $8 million.
That might be the
Oh,
best contract in the NHL.
that makes me mad.
Um,
So that is until
Here,
2026. So
let's.
it, it's a 4-year contract. So this is a let me show you over 4 years. And 7.7 is still obviously,
Let's.
probably about 7.7 more dollars than I get per year. But
I've just pulled this up for people to see. This is a work in progress where we have access to um, player stats on our site instead of having to go to like the NHL site and stuff. Yeah, that is the quietest 109-point season, and he still
probably
has a
110.
chance to get more. Like,
Yeah.
unbelievable how underpaid he is, and that could be a
Yeah.
big reason why Dallas coming out of the West, like Jake
He
Ottinger,
is a big.
Jake Ottinger, that is scary. 36, 11, and 11. That's a good save percent. That's a good goals against average. 4 players with 70 points.
Mm-hmm.
And that is spread throughout, plus a defenseman.
Yeah, Miro Heiskanen, like that's another player too that is criminally underrated this season. Again, he just nobody talks about him because it's Quinn Hughes gets a little bit of looks. Obviously, Carlson got all the looks. Cale Makar, he's going to get all the looks because he does things that most defensemen don't do. But Miro Heiskanen has been playing such good two-way defense. Every single game I watch, he is always impactful. Every single one. I don't see him making many mistakes. So, yeah, Quinn Hughes. People are talking about Quinn Hughes. No one's talking about Miro Heiskanen.
Yep.
I'm not even a Dallas fan, and I'm like, put more respect on their name. Come on. I said Mason Marchment was going to be a good scoop, and he has been. He has been a consistent player for that team. Joe Pavelski, he is still putting up
Oh
numbers.
my God.
How?
Like
How?
Pavelski absolutely killing it.
Jamie Benn having a resurging year, coming back and doing amazing things again. No one's talking
Ben
about this
and
team.
Sagan. But here's the thing. This is coming from somebody who had the coach for the Devils. We saw what he did in Vegas. We saw what he did in San Jose. He's got about 2 or 3 years. Then he runs his course. It's what Peter DeBoer does. He comes in, and players like Pavelski and Ben, they love it because well, sometimes they do,
right.
sometimes they don't. Because if you look at their time on ice, I would have to go in and change way too much. Nobody is above 20 for the forwards, if I remember correctly. Like, it is almost a perfect, like, between 13 to 16, 17 for every single one of their forwards. It's crazy.
I also really love that Dallas also has a Matt Murray as the
Yeah.
goalie. It was very funny that both Matt Murrays played one night, and they said Matt Murray won, and I was confused. Yeah, like Cale Makar has he's second
66.
place. He's second place for why can't I
Norris.
think of the Norris? Thank you. I kept going Vesna.
I've seen the argument more and more on Twitter this year than I ever have. Is there should be 2 defenseman awards. There should be best defenseman, and there should be the Bobby Orr award. Literally call it the Bobby Orr. The defenseman who scores the most points, because there is the difference between the defenseman who scores the most points and the best defenseman in the league is astronomical.
Mm-hmm.
The defenseman who scores the most points on Colorado is Cale Makar. The best defenseman, I'm sorry, is not Cale Makar.
No, it's Devon Toews by a mile, by a country mile. He is one of the most underrated defensemen in the league. At least Yakov Slavin is starting to be noticed.
Like,
people are saying his name more.
If there was a best defenseman, Slavin would probably be a runaway almost every year for how good he is.
He'd be like, I win it too much, guys. It's all you now. I'm not even nominated. Like, he would literally bow down because he's just that damn good. Anybody like, so who'd you say it was? The Islanders that go up against them?
Against who? Sorry,
Carolina.
Yes.
Yeah, so that'll be 2 really good defensive pairings. So you've got Pellich or Pellich, I don't know, versus Slavin, and those 2 are fantastic defensive defensemen. And I think that they're pairing Burns with Slavin, which is a brilliant pair because Burns is an activated He goes in, he shoots. He has that cannon of a shot as long as he can get it and in that right spot because somebody did research when his points numbers went down.
Look at that. He scored tonight.
But somebody looked into it when he was on San Jose and his points numbers started to drop from the season before that he had such a good season. He was shooting 2 feet closer to the net. And because of that, the puck wasn't elevating in the same way. So if he shoots from 2 feet further back, it's so hard to stop. So just things like that fascinate me. But even still, Slavin and Burns as a pairing is just a brilliant pairing.
Yeah, so there's now that... Oh, never mind. I stand corrected. Sorry, this is from earlier. My NHL had shown that Montreal won. No, they didn't. Boston won 5-4. So, hey, that's good for Boston. That's even better for Montreal. So that whole thing we were talking about with the Bedard stuff, the media can leave them alone. Mind you, they'll still go after them for a bad season, but it is what
at least they're doing what they can to try and win a really good player. Because even if you don't get Bedard, you're going to get probably Fantilli if you end up second. And that's going to be a fantastic scoop.
Yeah, because he won Hobie Baker, if I remember correctly,
That is correct.
as a rookie. So, all right, for the final time, Pat, I'll put away my fun stat sheet.
And I'm going to hit the big red button on my phone. It was the games of the week. So, as Bryan mentioned last week, this is, in theory, our last picks for this season. So we'll run through them. I chose Tuesday, April 11th at 9:30, which was Edmonton versus Colorado. It was a good game. They lost, like Colorado lost in overtime, so they still got the point, but Edmonton had been blowing out teams.
Yeah.
Just
McDavid all of a sudden stopped scoring. Like, he just got above 60, and then he was like, I'm not going to score anymore. Like, do you know how rare it is for Edmonton to have 2 defenders be their only goal scorers in a game? They're not built that way.
My gut is saying that he is currently easing off. He's kind of taking a bit of a rest because he knows that the playoffs are coming and he doesn't want to push himself, and I don't blame him. So and he doesn't need to push himself at this point.
He's been getting assists. Like, he got his 88th assist on the game-winning goal. And I know he has 1 assist tonight at the very least. I don't believe I had that game.
No,
mine should have been on Saturday. Devils losing to the Bruins in a close... Like, this is the thing that sucked. 2-1 in the first, and it stayed that way. Because the second that Boston goes up, like, if they've scored 2 goals... good luck beating them. And the thing that was kind of bittersweet is both the Boston goals, former first-round pick of the New Jersey Devils, Pavel Zacha.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you also had Mackenzie Blackwood in net, which that he lost the starting position, and the fact that he still did that.
Yep.
That's good. That's promising. So, like, fingers crossed it doesn't happen. But if it were to happen and there was an injury in any capacity, at least you have Blackwood.
I don't know if Blackwood would last. I think it would probably... There's the chance that if Vitek Vanacek, that the Devils would look at Akira Schmid instead. He's almost played better this year. Actually, we can look at that really quick since we're talking about it. Didn't get too many games in. Okay, maybe
no.
not.
Blackwood sitting at a 9.15, Schmid at an 8.44, and Vanacek at a 9.18. So obviously, 21. There was 21 versus 61, pretty much. So
yeah, and then here's why we're not really doing a games of the week, because here's what's left. Sabres and Blue Jackets. Pat was like, I'll pick that one. By the way, poor Sabres. Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. That was how their season ended. That would have been unreal, though, if they were somehow still in the hunt. If they had 4 games in 5 days, that would have been, like, must watch. And this one, pending what happens tonight, this game may or may not matter. If it matters for the Avs to get first in the Central, they will go all out because
Yeah, they will.
you do
they
not
will
want to
hurt
face
the
Minnesota.
Preds. No.
It's basically dodging Minnesota. That's what Dallas and the Avs are trying to do right now. So
Yeah, and it's less about dodging Minnesota. It's more about playing wild cards.
yeah,
Instead of playing somebody that has been playing good all season, you're going to be playing a team that has been hit or miss all season.
and the both Preds and Avs play tonight, so it's not like one team will be a little bit more rested than the other.
Yeah,
Though one has travel. So yeah, that's the ends of games of the week for this year, which is kind of crazy to think. So obviously we can kind of do it for the East games because we don't know the West yet.
Brian's phone is ringing.
That would be my wife calling me. So end of games of the week, we'll figure out something fun for the playoffs. Who knows? Maybe it'll be like, because we'll be going into the weekend. So for some series, that'll be either game 3 or game 4. So it might just be like, hey, here's a fun one to watch. So we'll figure that one out. As we wrap up, anything you want to... Oh, yeah, Pat's got his beer picked out. It's a pretty fun one.
Yep. So, for those that are listening, I have chosen, and like, full disclaimer, right away, we are not sponsored by this at all. We are, let's be honest, we are not at that tier.
We are not sponsored in general.
No, we do this because we are bored. But I have chosen one. I was looking for something that was Colorado related that wasn't Coors, because Coors is gross beer. Well, it's not gross. It's just boring. I was looking for something that was like a burgundy or a blue or something along the lines of that, or even I considered a Moosehead because without Landeskog in there, who would be the impromptu captain at that point? Why, it's Nova Scotian Nathan McKinnon.
Oh, I thought. See, I wasn't even thinking that. Do you know why I was thinking that? What is Mikko Rantanen's nickname?
Well, that's the second part of it. His nickname is Moose. So you would have Nova Scotia as well as Moosehead. So I figured that might be a good one, maybe for the Cups if they get there. But on my way there, I've decided to choose one lane, and it's called the Locker Room Lager. It's not bad. I've been having it tonight. It's just a pretty simple beer, and it is all about hockey. It is a little hockey jersey. It's very perfect, and it came with hockey tape in the 2-4.
And the colors are almost to your Nordiques Avs jersey behind you there too, which is kind of neat.
Yeah, the red, the blue, a little bit of gold, which is kind of fun. So I saw that and I was like, that's perfect. That's exactly what I need. It's a light beer, and
I still haven't decided. I'm just drinking this one because it was cold in the fridge, in the beer fridge that's over that way somewhere. So I'll figure mine out. I will have it.
You better. You said you'd have it tonight.
I know. I didn't get the chance to get to the liquor store. Yeah, I know. I'll pick it out over the weekend and I'll post it somewhere. I'll post it on our TikTok or something. So, so that's the beers. That's it for the regular season.
Yeah, weird.
Crazy. I actually get to enjoy the playoffs this year. I get to be stressed.
Yeah, that's enjoyment.
Yay.
You get to be stressed for at least 2 weeks. At least 2 weeks, you get to wake up every morning with dread. Why do I like this damn sport?
Because there's nothing like it.
No.
All right, Pat. Anything you want to add before we close out the regular season of Season 2?
Yeah, so I mentioned it a couple weeks back. So a family member of mine is currently battling cancer. They start treatment next week. So next week I am going to be shaving my head to show solidarity for them because they're important to me in my life. So yeah, I'm going to look really weird for those watching. I've never been like bald. Like I'm going straight to the scalp.
Is Pat pulling out the Bic razor?
I'm not doing it. I don't trust my hand with that. I don't trust Zoe's hands with that either. Ooh, no. I'm going to go to a barber and get that done. And I might do it over lunch at work just to see people's reactions. Because that is Oh, that'll be delicious if that's the case.
Word of advice from somebody who has literally had his head shaved so much that I used a razor for it. You have never felt anything so weird in your life. You will be able to be like, the wind is blowing from the southeast. Like, you feel everything. Headphones are the worst things to wear. You're not going to like it. It feels wrong. Like, sticks everywhere.
Okay. I've had a buzz head, but I've never had like a bald head. So yeah, maybe I'll bust out my ear pods.
You may have to. Ball caps do help, and you will burn the top of your head if you're not careful.
Good thing I have a whole shelf, and I'm already looking at getting a new one. I was looking at all the minor league teams for MLB. Man, why can't we have ones that are the sod poodles?
That's amazing.
The best names. The best names. Come on, like the River Bandits, the Trash Pandas.
Yeah,
What?
that one's great.
Like there's so many Iron Pigs. Like there's so many good ones, and their logos match exactly that vibe. So I don't know which hat I'm going to get, but I'm going to get something fun. I might get the Portland Pickles just because that's very funny. But yeah.
Well, we'll end it there. Pat will look a little bit different next week. Hopefully everything goes great with your family member. So other than that, it's been a fun regular season 2. Really awesome that both of our teams are in the playoffs and both playing well. So things get started. Playoffs get started on Monday. We're probably, pending what happens in the Avalanche game, we could be about 2 hours away from getting the schedule to really know how things are going to line up. So
Yeah.
it's a good thing Pat's going bald, because that little bit of color left in his hair would be gone.
Yep. So Bryan keeps getting phone calls, so we should probably end this podcast.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.